Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, we are sporting a blue turquoise wig tonight. Yes, Hunty. Yes, Mama Smurf. Come through, baby. Come through. And of course, I got compliments. The thing about it is, wearing these wigs, I'm a very outgoing, obnoxious, confident, friendly, talkative. So I talk to everybody. I talk to everybody in the streets. I talk to homeless people. I talk to cops. I talk to gangbangers. I talk to hookers. Everybody. CEOs, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know if someone's CEO. I talk to suits. I talk to everybody. Okay? So I talk to everybody, whether I got a do-rag on, a wrap, my hair, an afro, braids, whatever, wigs, weaves, whatever. But then I have to realize, okay, you do have on a turquoise blue wig. So, you might want to, no, honey, I'm in it to win it, baby. Blue with the tie dye, okay? Anyway, how are you guys doing? Okay, so as you know, I'm Rosie S. We're in my beautiful studio, which doubles for a garage. So, you may hear something or a little something. I think I parked in somebody's stall, which really isn't his stall, but, so if he comes out, I'm going to have to rush him because he wrote a nasty note on my window, left him a nasty note on my window. So, got to do a little 1-2, show him who's who, okay? Anyway, because that's not his stall. Anyway, so moving on. All right, so, you guys saw the other video of Wendy being in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. All right. So, I've been thinking, and I was like, what can I say to Wendy as a check-in? Excuse me, I don't know what it is about, taping in my beautiful studio that generates, this gas, whatever. Anyway, so, okay. So I'm going to just give you a little background of, my roots, whatever. Okay? So, my grandmother married my grandfather, right? They had 5 kids, all right? But between that, between the 4th and 5th child, my grandfather, who was, how does it, raise your pants up by your bootstraps or whatever? He was from Louisiana, backwoods Louisiana. Came up to San Francisco, or whatever. He left, I think he left at 15 or 14 and he went into the seminary. And then from seminary, he went into the military, okay? Yeah, because they were young when they got married, I think. 17, 18, anyway, okay. So, like I said, they have 5 kids. All right. He used to run around with Willie Brown, and, he gave Willie Brown his first Demare in San Francisco. He gave him his first fundraiser. Okay. So, it was him and the Rat Pack. It was my grandfather and my great uncle. They were in the same clique. Black mover and shakers, in San Francisco, the Bay Area. Okay. Willie Brown, him, my other uncle, whatever. And I don't know who else was part of the clique or whatever. I asked my cousin to get me a picture, but I don't know if he's going to do that. Anyway, so like I said, my grandmother, my grandfather also owned a club in San Francisco. Actually, he owned 2 clubs, but the first club, this was well before me. I think it was in the, I would have to say in the 50s or early 60s. On Fillmore, across the street is Gary. I think, so there's a bar at the corner, but I think his club was the structure next door to the bar. Or maybe it might have been the one. Anyway, so he was moving and grooving. You know, I don't know what happened then, but I know he used to always have a nice car. Like, he had a Rolls Royce, okay? So, he lost lead. He was doing it. So they had 5 kids. So in between the 4th and 5th one, I guess, he had his little side piece. And obviously my grandmother knew about it, whatever. And it was a ruckus. I think it was said that, he used to beat up on her or whatever. And one night she was like, you know what, just go. Just go. One thing is, she was pregnant. 4 kids and a baby on the way. Now, if, one of my family members, probably, maybe my uncle, he might see this, and he wants to, change the story around, because he was there, I wasn't. This is what my knowledge of or whatever. So, she was like, just go. Just go. If that's what you want, just go. Just whatever. So we left. Like I said, she had 4 kids and a baby on the way. Okay? 2 boys, 2 girls. And then she had my uncle, my last son. Her last son. So, it was hard for her. Okay? It was hard. And especially back then. I mean, now, you'd be like, you can get on. It is no big thing. But back in the, 60s. Yeah, in the 60s. It was kind of, to be a single woman or whatever. I mean, not that it wasn't any single women. There weren't any single women. But, that was a little rough. You know what I'm saying? So my grandmother had to work 3 jobs because he left. But I think he filed bankruptcy, and she got the house, but he didn't pay a lot of bills. I mean, he didn't, child support. I think, she got a little, whatever. So I think he was, single for a while, and then him and his side piece got married, and, I never knew of my grandfather being with my grandmother. And when I was born, I think he was single, but then, later on they got married. So, she had it hard. Here comes the car. She had it hard. And there's helicopters. I feel like I'm in Compton in LA or whatever, and they're about to do a drug bust. Okay, this guy's about to come in around me or whatever. So anyway, so she had 5 kids, had a house note, because they moved to an area that, I think when they first moved out, they were one of the first black families in that area in San Francisco, Lakeview. And, having a house note, whatever. Having a house note, that's a lot with 5 kids. 5 kids to feed. So she had 5 kids and a house note, okay? And she was, helping out my grandmother in Oklahoma, her mother. So, that's what they did. Back then, they don't do that now. So that's a lot of responsibility because, so she was, she had 5 kids. And then she was the oldest sister, and she would help my grandmother, my great-grandmother, with her younger sisters, okay? Okay? And, her house or whatever, because they're from Tulsa, whatever. So I'm saying all this to say, did you check it? Did you guys understand? 5 mouths to feed, a house note, a mortgage, not rent, she wasn't on welfare or whatever. My grandmother used to say, you know what, you need 3 jobs. 1 to save, 1 to spend, and 1 to pay bills with. She had 3 jobs and 5 kids and a new baby, okay? Now, my grandfather, he ended up opening another club. Him and his, side piece ended up getting married or whatever. They, my grandfather was very pristine. Is that word? I never seen him looking bad. Very immaculate. I remember him with this big, huge gold Cadillac. And then I was with him and his, his wife when they picked up their little baby Benz. I was with them. I think they purchased it from Oakland, Mercedes of Oakland. And then, he had the Rolls Royce. hmm Yeah, he was a baller. He was a big, they first they had a beautiful house in Sausalito. Now I don't know if there were many blacks in Sausalito, but that house was, oh my God, it was on a cliff, on stilts. Yeah, he really knew how to do it. And then they moved from that to this, I wouldn't say a mansion. It's about probably 4,000, maybe 4 or 5,000 square feet. That's not really that big. I mean, but it's in San Rafael or whatever, and like their backyard, it's huge, and he used to grow his vegetables, but it overlooks, it's right on top of where, not San Quentin. Yeah, they live right near San Quentin. Okay. Grandmother kept the house, raised the 5 kids in a little house, working. She had 3 jobs with 5 kids, taking care, helping her mother and, other sister. But she did it. All of her kids were educated except for my dad. My dad was more of a street, very smart, highly intelligent. He passed away. Great storyteller. My father thought he was too cute. But, his father's son. Loved women, whatever. But she did it. She put her kids' happiness, not even their happiness, because it was kind of hard, seeing their father, in a glamorous state, with the big houses, the beautiful cars, and seeing my grandmother suffer. And, in the black community back then in San Francisco, I guess it was a big thing because, these were like local celebrities somewhat, black, in the high up echelon of black culture in San Francisco. But she did it. She kept her head up. She had Governor Brown at her house. It was like, at her little house. It was little. It was maybe 1,000 square feet. If that. I think, no, I don't even think it was 1,000 feet. Maybe like 800, 900. 5 kids. Downstairs. Those were some of my best memories of childhood. Going downstairs in the garage and looking at all the treasures or whatever. The Thanksgivings were amazing. My aunt would cook all of these cakes and pies, and my cousin and I, the next morning after Thanksgiving, this is how I developed my love for sweet potato pie. I can eat a whole entire sweet potato pie. Back then I was little. I was very skinny, like very skinny. My aunt had an MG. This is how skinny we were. My aunt had an MG midget, and my cousin and I, the one who used to get up the day after Thanksgiving, and we both fit. You know how the MG has, they have the 2-seaters, the little cars. My cousin and I, we were so small and tiny and skinny that we both fit in back of that, from the back seat to the trunk or whatever. We both fit in that. That's how small we were. Yeah. And then my aunt, for Christmas, she worked at Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory. But she would buy us not convertible, 2-sided wrapping papers for Christmas. Christmas at my grandmother's house was heavenly. And it was just a little space. It was, I swear, I don't even think it was 800 feet on that top floor. Maybe 750. That woman was a saint. I just want to share this with you, Wendy, because, the strength of my grandmother is what gets me through life. I figure if she can raise 5 kids, work 3 jobs. He left her with 4 kids and a baby on the way. And I'm not saying that she's the only woman that ever did it, but this is my story. If she can raise 5 kids, have a man, just tell a man, just go. Same way you did, okay? If that's who you want, go ahead. Yeah, you tried, you were down for him, but you had your rules, you had your standards. And some women do, some women don't. But my grandmother raised 5 kids, 4 of them college graduate. I think 4 out of the 5 have double degrees. One is an attorney, one is a teacher, one got her master's. I don't know if my youngest uncle got. She held her head up. And I'm sure she cried a lot of times in her room. I used to sleep with her. Yeah, I remember when I was little, my aunts, her sisters were so funny because, that was my grandmommy, I used to call her. And if somebody was in her bed, my aunt said that, I used to be like, why are you in my grandmother's bed? You don't belong here. This is, me, mine and hers. We used to all be in her room, but I used to, oh my God, that was my heart. Because she only had the TV. She had one TV in her house. Marcus, and it was in her room. So if you wanted to look at TV, it wasn't a TV in the living room, in the kitchen, or anybody else's room. It was only one TV in the house, and it was in the room. So everybody would be in the room. I saw my aunt and uncles fight and everything. It was just, you know what? I talk a lot, whatever, but I don't think I ever spoke when I was younger. Because I remember I used to be around a lot of people. I don't remember having conversations with people. I just would sit back and observe. That's how you know so much. I know how to stop talking and just, check out the scene. And I do that often. So if you ever see me in person and I'm not talking or being friendly or sociable, whatever, I'm just sitting back, I'm checking out the scene. I'm taking notes of everyone. Actually, my son's father is like that. He's Gambian. He's very quiet. But he can tell you, everyone in the room, whatever happened that day or whatever in his memory, he can remember that from 20, 30 years ago. So let's bring it over. So my grandmother, came from Oklahoma. She didn't have any money. I told you she was taking care of her mother. She's taking care of her mother, had 5 kids and a mortgage. Still kept her head up high. You never saw her looking bad. I never even heard my grandmother curse. Was she a saint? Yes. Did she give up? No. If she had a breakdown, I never heard about it. Never seen her do drugs. She had her wine, I would hear her early in the morning when she would talk to her sister, my aunt. Like I said 5 kids and a mortgage. She had to work 3 jobs. 3 jobs. She used to tell me. She had a couple boyfriends. She had one. He owned a lot of property in San Francisco. Actually, I guess his descendants are extremely wealthy because he had a lot of property in San Francisco. So they're all millionaires now. He helped, take care of her 5 kids. And he had 5 kids, I think, because his wife died. My grandmother's no longer here. No. She's no longer here. She got married. She remarried, I think, when she was in her 70s. I went with her to pick out her wedding dress at Jessica McClintock, the outlet in San Francisco. Or I think it was in South San Francisco. So she had a beautiful wedding. She ended up dying, I think, a year or 2 after she got married. She married a professor who taught at Langston University in Oklahoma. but she, she got married before any of her granddaughters. Making a video, sorry. So, yeah, she passed away in Oklahoma City. I drove from Vegas to Oklahoma in 14 hours to try and make sure I said goodbye to her before she passed away. She had cancer. When she first got cancer, we were laying in her bed. And she told me if she had to do it all again, then after, she got her first divorce, she would have married that guy who owned a lot of property in San Francisco. She said she would have married him, and he had money. He used to work at some place where you take the skin from the cows. I don't know what you call it. He's from Texas. He looked white, but he was black. She said if she had to do it all over again, she would have married him. She, would have got a nanny, because he had 5 kids, so it would have been like the Brady Bunch. She would have got a nanny and, had the life, I guess, that he would have given, because he loved her so much. She said that to me, and, when she was dying of cancer, laid in her bed in the back room in San Francisco, in her little house in San Francisco. But she suffered all those years. Not in shame, but, because she had to struggle a lot. She had 5 kids and a house note. She had to work 3 jobs. Not always, but she was strong. She kept her head up high. She never gave up, Wendy. I'm not crying because of you. I'm just crying because of how much I miss her and her strength. And because of her. I don't take any shit from anyone. If a man tells me, God, I gotta make some more videos. The man tells me that he wants to go, guess what? Not only did I get her from this, but also from my other grandmother, which was no joke. She was from Louisiana. Now, my paternal grandmother was from Oklahoma, Tulsa. My maternal grandmother was from Louisiana in the backwoods. Oh, she was a firecracker. That wig I had on yesterday, that was her. But I get my strength via her tenacity to not give up. And I don't understand how someone who has 5 kids, who has a mortgage, who has to work 3 jobs, and still present themselves, in a prideful way. She was a nice dresser, but, her and she would take me. She grew up in the Tulsa, the burning of Tulsa, Wall Street. Her grandfather owned, they used to call him Papa. Papa used to own, well, I have a Papa. Her husband, I call Papa. But her grandfather, my grandmother's grandfather, was named Papa, and he had various buildings or businesses. I think he had a dry cleaner, and he had something else in Wall Street, which they burned down. So she never, I forgot why I mentioned him. She never gave up. And that's where I get my strength. When I don't have nothing that you have. As I said, material things don't mean much. And I have men come at me almost, if not daily, weekly. And they can't understand. Because I'm poor. I say it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I am what I am. I don't fake the funk. I am what I am, okay? Got a whole bunch of past due bills and some loan, some NSF. But that's it. That's me. I can smile. It's not going to get me. See, money's not going to get me. Not having a man is not going to get me. Not being married, not having, a plethora of properties or a property. No, not having the newest clothes, the latest fashions or whatever. I'm over 200 pounds. I'm looking at pictures when I was 60 pounds a year less, smaller. 60, 30, 38 pounds smaller. It is what it is. I'm here. You see, I'm here and I'm happy. You see this beautiful smile? You see this wig, honey? You see this makeup? You see this shirt? I think I got this from the Goodwill. Both of my grandmothers were some amazing Goodwill shoppers. But that's what, they're from that era. They rarely went out. I don't think my grandmother, the one I'm talking about, I don't think we ever went out to eat. Maybe in her later years. No, she always cooked. You would come to her house and she'd be like, okay, what you want? You didn't leave her house without eating a good meal because she could cook. Drinking. You ate on china, not paper plates and plastic forks and the red cups. I don't think neither of my grandmothers ever had that. I don't understand how people can eat like that, but okay, whatever. I personally, they weren't rich. And my grandmother used to always say, you kids are assets, not my liabilities. You're my assets. How does someone who has, how can I say this, nothing, but still have that strength? No man, 5 kids, mortgage, 3 jobs, no drugs. Where does that strength come from? I'm not stronger. And they could move a whole house full of furniture. I don't know how they did. I don't know. They don't make them like that no more. Okay, I'm definitely that way. I ain't worked 3 jobs. But Wendy, you're a trooper. I see that strength in you. You've endured a lot, but you're still ahead. See, my grandmother, no, she didn't have, the $1 million house. Well, actually, her house now in San Francisco is probably worth $1 million. Excuse me. She didn't, it's a small house. She didn't have a big house. She never bought a building. Actually, she never even purchased a new car. All her cars were used, those Buicks and all that. Yeah, she was always there for me. My grandfather, I remember, I think I was in my 20s or whatever. I was really broke or whatever. But, I was living this before I had my son. Called him and asked him, I think it was like $36 for a PG&E bill. He said, oh no, sorry, I can't help you. Okay. My grandmother, who had the 5 kids and the 3 jobs, every time I left her house, here comes the car. Every time I left her house, she put $20 in my hand. Every time I left. I cried like a baby, as you see now. When she passed away, I wanted to jump in when they put her casket down. I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life. My grandfather, I don't even think I shed a tear. I believe in you, Wendy, the same way I believe in her. I don't know you, never met you, but I'm hoping the strength that you think you're lacking, that you'll find. And I'm going to pray for you.